Karthik, let's talk then about the investment options for retirees and senior citizens. Because at this point, we are also staring at a low interest rate environment. So, but at the same time, of course, you don't want to get too adventurous when you're investing during your silver years, because you don't have a lot of income coming in to supplement any lost money due to these adventurous investments. So what are the options for such individuals?
Every retired person should write this sentence down in their houses or wherever they are sitting. Safety comes at a huge cost. And if last 2-3 years are any sort of indication, we have umpteen examples. We have examples of Yes Bank, DHFL, ILFS, and the list goes on. Safety is a very expensive thing to have these days. So that's having said that, I'm not saying dump your fixed deposits. Be there. I mean, have a little bit of money into fixed deposits. If you like the senior citizen scheme, that's fine. But you need to open your options to things like PSU debt funds. You need to open options to gilt funds. There is P2P lending, which RBI has, sanctioned as a platform. That's as an option there for you. And then you have your traditional options of conservative mutual funds where, you have 15-20% equity, rest in bonds. So that sort of props up the return for you. And look, we have to understand that you can't go away from equities because you're not going to use the money. If you're 60 today, or if you're starting off your retirement, or for that matter, even if you're 70, what happens is there is a chunk of money that you will use 8 years or 10 years down the line. Now, like you mentioned in your report, Mubina, that only 11 lakhs is the amount of money people have because India is a poor country. Because all the time we keep investing in fixed deposits, then how do you expect your wealth to grow and how can you afford to have a lifestyle that you wish, especially in your silver years? So having said that, you're not going to lose all that money in 1 day or 2 days or 5 days. But there needs to be an allocation. And I would actually go 2 steps further. And I would say you should have allocation not only in equity funds, but also in direct equity. Buy some blue chip stocks, hold them for about 8 to 10 years. And then over a period of time, we use a concept of laddering. And I sort of use it in a slightly different way. So what happens is as you sort of come closer towards it, that time you keep withdrawing chunks from equity and start coming into bonds, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in advance. So today, for an example, if you're 60, you have a small portion of your money, let's say in equities. So by the time you're 65, 66, 67, maybe you can pick up that money and come back into bonds. So when the time comes to use that money, they are tax efficient, your tax is lower, it's much more controlled, and you have the income stream that you sort of want to have. So I think one needs to open their mind, and I may not want to mince words, it's time to say bye-bye to fixed deposits because fixed deposits, and if it's a smaller bank especially, or a cooperative bank, or if you're living in some remote part of, in a tier 2 city or tier 3 city, or even a remote part of India, you need to be extremely cautious of the bank that you're banking with. The State Bank of India and the Bank of Barodas will not sort of, disappoint you ever, nor will the, larger private sector banks. But there are enough banks which will, disappoint you. Punjab, the PMCB Bank, is a live example in front of us, and people are still bruising the impact of that kind of a debacle that happened there. So there are lots of things that you need to consider, but please, for God's sake, do not have all your money in the bank. But that's a very dangerous strategy, and that's why safety is a big cost.